Somehow, yet again, lease renewal time has surprised you. Work and life have been so hectic that you haven't given any thought to whether you'd like to stay or not. And even if you did decide to move, you definitely haven't had any time to figure any of that out. Maybe just going month to month would be the best option for you now until you figure out what you'd like to do. We're talking about the pros and cons of month-to-month rent on today's episode of Renter Confidential. Month-to-month renting, as the term suggests, allows tenants to rent a property on a monthly basis instead of signing a long-term lease. This option allows renters a great degree of flexibility and freedom, but it also comes with its own set of considerations. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 31% of all the leases in the U.S. were month-to-month. So it definitely appears to be quite a popular option. Month-to-month renting offers unparalleled flexibility. Whether you're a student unsure of your plans for next semester or a young professional exploring new job opportunities, a month-to-month lease allows you to quickly adapt to changes in your life without being tied down to a long-term commitment. In addition, renting month-to-month can serve as a temporary solution for those in transition, such as individuals relocating to a new city or downsizing their living space. This flexibility can be a saving grace during uncertain times or when you need a short-term housing solution. Other examples of who this might be useful for are consultants or contractors who are unsure if their contracts will be renewed, or any employees who are unsure about whether they plan to stay in their current job. Another way you might use a month-to-month lease is if you're unsure of the neighborhood you've been living in. Neighborhoods change and evolve over time. Is the neighborhood evolving in a positive direction that continues to meet your needs or not? If you're unsure, you just might want to go month to month so you're not locked in while you determine which way the trend is going. For people who are interested in moving to a new school district, but their lease expires in the middle of the school year, I've seen them go month to month as well. This gives them the flexibility to wait for the end of the current school year in their current apartment and then move without being on the hook for another 12 months of rent. For those who have rented their current home for less than a year, only 8% of them are in a month-to-month situation. But that percentage grows to over 50% for renters who have lived in the same rental home for 5 years or more. From advertising to cleaning apartments to providing tours, there's significant cost involved in actually reaching the finish line of having a new renter sign on the dotted line and move in. So the low percentage of month-to-month leases for new renters definitely reflects this reality. In addition, there's a significant minority of landlords that don't sign a new lease every year. Most leases have a standard clause in them that allows the lease to revert to month after the initial lease term is over. That way, the original lease is still in effect regardless of whether the landlord has you sign a new lease as the original lease term ends. We'll take a quick break here for our sponsor, Rental Secrets. This book has helped people save hundreds on their rent. The link is in the show notes, and here's the trailer for this powerful book. America is in the grip of a housing crisis. There's evidence of it in nearly every city. 50% of U.S. households are having difficulty paying rent. And prices? Well, prices are on the rise. Frustration has set in for those trying to make ends meet, and searching for a new place can be a daunting task. It can seem overwhelming. People believe that landlords have all the power. After all, they have what you need. But it isn't true. Yes, you heard correctly. It is not true. You have more power than you think. Inside the new book, Rental Secrets, you'll learn how to reduce your rent. Just imagine having a lower rent payment. Get better value for your money. Paying rent is a struggle. Shouldn't you get more out of each payment? How to negotiate with the right people. Who has the real power to negotiate? Take control of rent renewal conversations. After all, it's your money. And even how to get free rent. Yes, it is absolutely true. Free rent is real, and you can get it. All this and so much more is in Rental Secrets. Get your copy today at Amazon.com. And we're back. However, the flexibility and freedom of the month-to-month lease can come with a significant price tag. Typically, a 20% premium is added to the standard monthly rent when a renter opts for month-to-month. Knowing that a lease is expiring, landlords can plan to advertise the rental home ahead of time and work to limit the amount of vacancy that they experience. In a month-to-month situation, they don't have that luxury, so they usually ask for higher rent due to that inconvenience. The beauty of the standard 12-month lease is that, as a renter, you know that your monthly rent will be fixed for the entire 12-month period. However, that is not the case in a month-to-month rental situation. So another drawback of renting month-to-month is that just like it grants you the option to leave your current rental home with little notice, it also leaves the landlord the opportunity to change the rent each month instead of having it locked in for 12 months. Given that the main drawbacks to choosing the month-to-month option have to do with cost, what risk do you run if you sign a 12-month lease but decide to move before the end of the lease term? The biggest risk is that you'll be responsible for paying rent for both the old rental home and the new one until such time as the old rental is rented by someone else or the lease on the old rental expires. While the landlord is obligated to make a good faith effort to rent your old apartment once you've moved out, there is no guarantee that they will find a new renter before the lease term is up. Being responsible for rent in two places clearly isn't ideal. So what other alternatives might be available to you? You may be able to pay the landlord for the right to break your lease. Some leases include a clause allowing you to break your lease upon the payment of a specified fee. Typically, this fee is equal to 2 months' rent. While this isn't ideal either, it's certainly preferable to being responsible for 12 months worth of rent or however long is left on the lease that you have. In an effort to address the landlord's concern and still address the uncertainty you as a renter might be feeling, you could agree to sign a lease with a specified period that matches your timeline. For example, if your client or company will make a decision related to your contract within the next few months, you might agree to signing a new lease with a lease term of between 2 to 6 months. This provides the landlord some of the certainty they'd like in order to plan for vacancy, but prevents you from being on the hook for another full 12-month lease term. So here's the takeaway. Renting month-to-month will certainly provide a great deal of flexibility and freedom. Leases with some landlords will automatically revert to month-to-month at the end of the lease term. Don't sign a new 12-month lease lightly, as you may end up paying for rent in two places depending on your circumstances. You may also be able to negotiate paying a lease break fee or signing a shorter term lease to address your needs. As always, the quality of your relationship with the landlord will go a long way toward helping you craft your lease situation to your liking. Thanks for watching Renter Confidential. Happy apartment hunting. And remember, when it comes to renting, insider information is the best roommate you can ever have.